اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم. قال انی اريد ان انکحک احدی ابنتی ہاتین علی ان تاجرنی ثمانیہ حجج فإن اتممت عشرا فمن عندک وما اريد ان اشق علیک ستجدنی ان شاء اللہ من الصالحین. Their father said to Moses, I intend to marry to thee one of these two daughters of mine on condition that you stay in my 8 years. If you complete 10 years, it will be of thine own accord, and I would not lay any hardship upon thee. You will find me, if Allah wills, of the righteous.
What is the significance of the condition على أن تأجرني 8 حجج?
8 حجج. I think this is said by him under divine command, because as events developed later on, then we begin to understand the meaning of 8 حجج. That is the time of Moses' life. If about 8 years are added to that, then he reaches the full maturity age of 40. Normally or usually it is that age of full maturity when prophets are made. So it's just not accidental that he said 8. 8 years was the time when once completed, we know that Allah commissioned him as his prophet, because after 8 years he took leave instead of waiting for the 10. And while on way to the wilderness, he was called by God and shown that fire of which we know. And it was there that he was for the first time commissioned as a prophet of God. So this 8th year has a very important significance to the whole events of life which were to unfold it later on. That also shows that this man of God, although he was not a prophet, he was a very godly person, who was under the influence of Allah and who showed him the events of the future. Now he says 10 years, which means he knows that he is going to live that much. Although already he has been mentioned by his daughters as a very old man, advanced in age. Yet that old man is telling Moses to serve him for 8 more years, and 10 if possible. And that is exactly what happened. He lived much longer than the departure of Moses. And according to the Bible, on his return to Madian, Moses again met him. But whether it is right or wrong, this much is right we know, that he did live for 10 more years at least. Right? Moreover, it should be clearly understood that when Moses took leave of Hazrat Shuaib, he did not intend to return to Egypt at that time. It was farthest from his mind. He only took leave to settle somewhere else and not to be a burden on his family after he was married for a long time and he had raised his own family. Now it is not very sure whether children were born out of that wife or not. They are not mentioned anywhere. So it is possible that she did not bear Moses any children. But both of them decided to leave the house of their father and settle elsewhere. This is very evident from what passed between Moses and God when he saw the light above. When Allah told him that you are my prophet now, I returned to Pharaoh, he hesitated. He said, how can I return to him? And I have on me their blood, which they would revenge. So evidently, he was not returning to Egypt with his wife at that time. He was only seeking a place elsewhere. But what must have happened, I believe, was that he returned and left his wife with her father, and then returned to Egypt. And when he returned to Egypt, he must have sent for his brother as well a message to his brother, you come and join me, and we will both enter Egypt as messengers of God. So this seems to be the overall picture, which can be inferred from various verses, but these are things which are not directly related, but you can easily build them up from the study of the Quran. Yes.